Red Baron FPV here. Just wanted to go over you guys some things that I do with these Ethix props that I'm sure a lot of you already do. I've not really seen a video in depth about it on the internet, and I just thought it'd be a good idea to put it out there, especially a lot of the new guys that are coming in this sport. It was really beneficial to me when I watched other people's videos and when they were doing a lot of how-tos and helpful videos, when they were in depth on even the most elementary of things, because a lot of people getting into this do not have any, may or may not have any background at all in any kind of prop pitches and things such as that. And myself, when I got into this, I didn't even know how to turn on a Tyrannus radio, much less, prop. I mean, I got the concept of prop pitch, but I didn't understand how sensitive it could be and how it would apply to me later on in my FPV experience. But I'll get right to it. You're looking at the S3s, S4, S5, and then these are the HQ V1Ss. The biggest difference of all of these, besides colors you see, is prop pitch. This prop pitch for the S3 is a 3.1 or 3.2, I believe it's 3.1. The S3s are 3.7, and then the S5s, these are a 4.0, and then you go to a 4.3 with HQs. Basically, right now, this time of year, as cool as it is outside, the elevation that I fly, 900-foot elevation, right now, an average day, 60 degrees, 70 degrees, something like that. This is what I fly, the watermelons, the S3s. I may go out tomorrow and it could be an 80+ degree day, and if it is, 9 times out of 10 I won't touch these at all. I'll go to these or these. The reason being is when I try to fly these watermelons on a day that's really hot, 80+, the bottom end thrust, it's there a little, but it really flattens out and falls off really fast because the air is so much thinner. You need a little more prop pitch to compensate for a hotter day, and as the day gets hotter, naturally you'll want that prop pitch to compensate for the air being thinner, and you start losing that propulsion. So when it's the hot times of the year, say 80 to 90 degrees, I won't even use these most of the time. In the spring and in the fall, this is my go-to. In the middle of summer, this, and them 90+ days, it could be none of these at all. It may be the 4.3s of the HQs, the V1Ss, and they're a little heavier, yes, and they're definitely not as loss of weight as these are. But if the other day I shot a video where I flew up to the top of a mountain and I checked my elevation chart before I started, and I was at 1,000 feet where I was at, and where I flew to was 3,000 feet. I didn't have any V1Ss with me. I actually flew these props, and about 2/3 of the way to the top of that mountain, you could hear in the video, if you go back and watch this, the one that's called God's Country, you can hear in that video I am screaming. That throttle is screaming, and it's only halfway. But the throttle is halfway from the bottom where I started all the way to the top. And you could just hear it, that sucker start screaming as I get higher elevation. And that's because it's freeing the motor up. The air's getting thinner, so therefore the prop is just basically free spinning. It's losing lift. So the RPM starts rising. It's less strain on the motor in a sense of drag, of the pressure of trying to slow it down. But there again, it's over throttling, and it's really not producing any more thrust, so it's pretty much lost its ability at that point to be as efficient as if I would have had these on or these on. Yeah, when I first took off, it may be a little grunny and just not quite as much pull, but as I get to higher elevation, you'll hear it just start, the RPM range start coming into its own where it should be, because the air is thinner, and these starts compensating for that, the higher pitch. So just keep that in mind. And like I say, that's just something that I do on my day-to-day when I fly. Usually in the summer, it'll be between these two, and in the spring, it'll be between these two. In the middle of summer, between these two, and then going back into the fall, back into these two. And then all through the winter, 99% of the time, it's just these. So something to think about when you're looking at elevation, or if you're just looking at temperature outside, how the temperature is outside. And one of the quick ways of noticing what I'm talking about on your quad I'm running 1750 kV motors, the Mr. Steel setup, and with those 1750s, if I jump to a 1950 kV, and I can run this prop every day. But what happens is I literally start losing so much efficiency. I literally see 3-minute flight times versus with these, I'm getting 5-minute flight times in full freestyle. So when you start jumping up that kV, there's other things you start affecting with your efficiency, and as well as you do gain more power, but you lose time. You lose time of flight, in my opinion. And again, this is all my opinion. This is all what I do and what works for me. If you try it, best way to tell is if you go out and fly one evening or one afternoon and you notice, it's crispy, it's flying really well the way you want. You come back out the next day, and the only difference is it's just a lot hotter, and you notice it's just flat on top end. It just don't go. It don't have the top end flow that you felt the day before. If it does, and you've got these on, take them off, put these on, and give it a shot. I guarantee you it'll feel the way you like the quad to felt from the day prior. And vice versa. If you're flying on an 80-degree day and you're saying between these two right here, and you come back out the next day, it's in the 60s, and you've got those same props on, it feels like it's a dog. It just don't want to go. It don't have any power. Rip them suckers off, throw a set of these on, and go. So just something to think about. It's just my thoughts, my opinion on what works for me. If you like the video, please hit that like button. If you're not subscribed and you're interested in subscribing, just let me, hit the button again, and I'd greatly appreciate it. If you have any questions, just ask below. If you have any comments or anything you want to add, anything, I don't care, just go for it. Anyway, this Red Baron FPV, over and out.